latest update from Ian Rapoport really makes it seem like it's only a matter of time before the Baltimore Ravens end up trading away Mark Andrews. And we're going to talk about that shortly. But before we do, we got a huge announcement. Y'all know every single year we do a live stream of the first round of the draft, and we have a great time doing it. And we're going to continue doing just that. But we decided this year we're going to take it up a notch because we are going to be joined by James and Glenn from 410 Sports Talk in our live stream. So we're going to be live streaming together. But we said, you know what? Let's take it up another notch from that. Not just the live stream, but it's going to be a live stream where y'all can be there too, because from Baltimore at Union Hill Kitchen Craft and Bar, we are going to be doing a live draft stream party. So all y'all are welcome, people of all ages. Y'all make sure y'all come through because we are going to have a great time. So next Thursday for the first round of the draft, y'all make sure you are there. So Mark Andrews, this whole trade stuff, it just seemed like it came out of nowhere. It almost seemed like it came from Baltimore Ravens fans after that playoff game. There's a lot of fans saying, oh, trade Mark Andrews, get Mark Andrews out of here, because a lot of them were frustrated. But then logic kicked in. The business side of NFL kicked in. It was like, hold up, Mark Andrews is due a lot of money, and he only has 1 year left on his deal. Isaiah Likely does not do much money, and he only has 1 year left on his deal. And Charlie Kohler in the same boat as well. But Ian Rapoport, he provided us with a bit of an update from the Baltimore Ravens? To me, it certainly sounded like it. Let's get into it. He said, you have Isaiah Likely, who's a good emerging young player. And when Mark Andrews wasn't on the field, he looked like a number one tight end. And that's certainly true, because when Mark Andrews went out a couple of years ago with that injury, Isaiah Likely stepped in, and he stepped all the way up. I remember back then, I was saying, hey, we should sign Zach Ertz, because he was a free agent at the time. Because I'm like, all right, Isaiah Likely, he's a young guy. He ain't got much experience. But if we sign Zach Ertz, he's a veteran. He done been there, played in every type of game before. We should be straight. But Ravens didn't sign Zach Ertz. And they kept Isaiah Likely. They rolled with him. And boy, did it pay off like crazy. And I was so happy to have been wrong about that. They ain't need to sign nobody. They had it right there. Anyway, he says, Isaiah Likely is going to just make $3 million this year. Teams usually like to lock up these players to long-term lucrative extensions. So, again, he putting it out there, so they're starting to plant seeds. But let's continue. He said, Andrews has been there before. This was Mark Andrews several years ago before he signed his most recent extension. Right, so at the end of his contract, and then ended up getting signed to another contract extension. So cool. He said, Mandrews is due $11 million. No doubt he'll have some trade value in a draft where there's not a ton of really good tight ends. See, this part. Now, while that may be true, this part, it sounded like Ravens were like, hey, Ian, let the people know, let the world know, because we trying to make one last push to get Mark Andrews traded, trying to get one last good offer to get Mark Andrews on up out of here before the draft. That's what it sounds like, because stuff like this happens all the time. It is not, you can't put it past no team to tell a national reporter, because they do it with Adam Schefter all the time too. It's part of the business. Anyway, he said, I wouldn't be surprised if, based on what I'm hearing, if some team comes in and makes an offer Ravens can't refuse. So again, more seeds being planted by Ian Rapoport, but it really seemed like the Ravens might have let him know. Because he said, if some team comes in and makes an offer that the Ravens can't refuse, and he said, based on what I'm hearing. Is he hearing this directly from the Baltimore Ravens? Well, let's continue. He said, if the team makes an offer that the Ravens can't refuse, it's very clear. He said, even though it's very clear that Mark Andrews means a lot to them, and they really value Mark Andrews, both the person and the player. So you see how they took it from business, like, hey, if a team comes in and they make an offer that the Baltimore Ravens can't refuse. But then at the end, he took it personally. He said, even though the Baltimore Ravens, they really value Mark Andrews. They love Mark Andrews as a person and a player. So this is the Ravens, like, letting it be known, like, all right, somebody, come through. We love Mark Andrews and we value him. But if you want him, just make an offer. Make a good enough offer. And I think the Ravens have gotten some offers, but obviously it's not an offer that they feel comfortable with yet. Or they just trying to up the offer. They just trying to see if they can get something even better. Now, with Ian Rapoport, he said that Mark Andrews is due $11 million. Brian McFarland, he cleared some stuff up that makes you wonder if this is what happened. He said, for what it's worth, unless, he didn't say they did it, he said there's a possibility. He said unless they quietly agreed to postpone the due date. of the roster bonus. Said Mark Andrews was due a $4 million roster bonus on March 18th. So if that was paid and were he to be traded, the cap savings would now be $7 million, not $11 million as it was prior to that bonus being paid. And he said again, if it was paid. So he's putting a scenario out there like the Ravens could have quietly agreed, not even put it out there, that Mark Andrews ended up not getting that $4 million roster bonus that he was due on March 18th. So if the Ravens and Mark Andrews are like, hey, like, look, we're going to put that off for now. We're going to put that off for now, probably put it off until after the draft to see wherever it is that you end up, so we can save even more money. You can still get your money from your new team, but you ain't going to get it from us. We're going to save that $11 million instead of $7 million. That would be significant. So, again, it's all to be determined, but it really just does seem like it's only a matter of time, especially with everything that Ian Rappaport was saying. Now, something that Eric DeCosta said yesterday in his pre-draft presser, it's like, again, he seemed like he was dropping some nuggets, even though it is Liars Luncheon, so he could have just been saying it to say it. But at the same time, when he was being asked about trades, draft day trades, and he was like, have we ever traded away one of our players on draft day? We've traded 4 players on one, but have we ever traded away one of our players on draft day? And I remember while I was watching the press conference live, I was like, yeah, I said Hollywood Brown. And somebody who was there, they also said Hollywood Brown, but he said no, not Hollywood. He said that trade was already agreed upon, and y'all just didn't know. He said we announced it on the first night of the draft, but we had already had that agreed upon. So we didn't come to that agreement on draft night. That was already done. So Eric DeCosta, he let it be known that he was over there talking like a boss, like, nah, we took care of that already. Y'all saw it later when we wanted y'all to see it, but that was already done. So could that happen with Mark Andrews? It's a real possibility. So now we reach my favorite part of these videos where we get to feature your questions. If you would like to take part in it, you can send an email to teamkeepitclean@gmail.com, or for the patrons. And if you would like to become one, you can go to patreon.com/Ingravenvids, and you can send your question in the DM directly there. First question actually came from a Team Keep It Clean patron, my guy John, who actually upgraded his Patreon membership. So John, we appreciate you, my friend. Thank you. He said, "What's up, bro? Appreciate what you do. No question, just writing to say that I love the content and appreciate you and your family. God bless you, bro." I appreciate that, John. Thank you, man. He ain't even sending a question. He just saying he loved the content. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Thank you very much for watching it. Thank you for being a patron. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch it. I appreciate that a lot. I appreciate all y'all that watch it. Your time is the most valuable thing that you have. It ain't money, not clothes, not cars, not nothing, it's your time, because that's something that you can't get back, and time is very, very valuable. So every day, y'all that come through, thank you very, very, very much, especially you, John. Next question came from my guy Zlager. He said, "I've been considering the situation, and if I'm EDC, I trade Mark Andrews for the best value possible." Yeah, I mean, that sounds about right. He said, "Isaiah likely is younger and has similar, if not superior, talent. While I appreciate having Mark Andrews on the team, he hasn't been delivering in the postseason. We still need a few key pieces to hoist that Lombardi trophy. Let me know your thoughts." Hey, I love Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews is a baller for sure. Has he been delivering the best in the playoffs? No. But hey, Lamar, he ain't been delivering the best in the playoffs too. Because, again, remember last year, the fumble? That wasn't the best delivery. And also the interception, too. That wasn't the best delivery, even though I think that was a miscommunication, but still. So, but in the second half, he did come through, though. Second half, he came through, and he said, "Oh, my fault. You know what? Let me clean this up." But in the second half, Mark Andrews, that boy, he made it dirty. He ain't cleaned up nothing. That was rough. But so I get what you're saying, but I still think Mark Andrews is a baller, man. He is. But again, it just does seem like they still gonna move off from Mark Andrews, simply because, like you said at the very beginning, you said I trade Mark Andrews for the best value possible. In order to get the best value possible for Mark Andrews, you have to do something right now. You have to, because the value is only going to drop, because he's going to be a free agent next year. And then, yeah, you could get a comp pick, but you won't get that comp pick for a whole nother year after he signs a deal in free agency. So it's going to be 2 years before you get anything for Mark Andrews if you don't trade him now. So it's like, It's a do or die thing, like right here, right now. He also said, by the way, I just finished HVAC school and have an interview on Friday. Okay, all right. Hey, go get that job, man. That HVAC. That's what? Heating, ventilating, and air conditioning. Did I get the V wrong? I feel like I got the V wrong. So my apologies if I did. But, hey, go get that bread because that is a business that people will always need. Next question came from my guy Michael. He said, many blessings to you, your family, and friends. Hey, I appreciate you. He said, and team, keep it clean. Many blessings to you all. I got a question for you. How would you feel about that running back from Arizona State? It's not Scatibo. I think it's Scatibo. I know it's not Scatibo. But anyway, he said being drafted if he's available. Being drafted by us, I just feel like we so straight at running back right now. And plus Derrick Henry getting ready to sign a contract extension any day now. Who knows when though. Derrick Henry, Justice Hill, they signed him to another contract extension. Still got Keaton Mitchell. And like if he was available, like and we still got Rasheen Ali too. I would say if he was available like in the fifth, sixth, I don't think he'll make it that far. But if he was available in like the fifth, sixth, the fifth or later, then maybe. But first through fourth, I don't think it would be a good idea in my opinion. Deja Vu. Next question came from my guy Alex. He said, hope all is well with you and your family. It's been a bit since I sent in my last question. After our early playoff exit, I felt numb and quiet at the start of the year. I've been watching and listening to all the videos, though. Okay, appreciate that, Alex. And I know, as you know and you heard, a lot of people felt that same exact way. After that game, a lot of people were done. And I mean, a lot of people still are done recently, too. A lot of people, they ain't been feeling like watching nothing. But he said, after listening to EDC speak on Mark Andrews in his press conference, the Lions Luncheon, my question to you is, do you see a trade up or something similar to the 2022 NFL draft where we traded away Hollywood for both Linda Flynn and Super Duper Kyle, but this time we trade Mark Andrews? Well, no, Hollywood was only for Linda Flynn. He was only for Tyler Linderbaum because we got that late first round draft pick from the Cardinals for Hollywood. Now, that would be something. It's different, though, because, well, Mark Andrews, great player. He is on, this is the end of his third contract. Because, yeah, he got his rookie contract, then he got paid once, then he got paid again. So, this is the end of his third contract. But with Mark Andrews, Hollywood, he was at the end of his rookie contract. And the Ravens traded him and got a first-round pick for him. I don't think Ravens could get a first-round pick for Mark Andrews. Could they possibly move up? They could. If they included their first-round pick and Mark Andrews, yeah, that could help them move up a decent amount of spots in the first round. But I don't think you're not going to get a straight-up first-rounder for Mark Andrews, in my opinion. He said, both sides on the ball around the trenches. I felt a vision after he talked about that situation afterwards. EDC mentioned that he knew about the trade a couple of days before the draft. Yeah, see, that's what we do. We just talking about that a little bit ago. He said, do you think getting Linda Flynn and Super Duper Kyle instead of a replacement receiver at that time was the right move? You got a loaded question here. I mean, at that time, man, who did we end up signing that year? I don't even remember. I don't even remember what the receiver situation was that year. I know, I'm pretty sure it was ugly. But obviously, Kyle Hamilton and Tyler Linderbaum, they worked out like crazy because now they are two of the best at their positions in the league. I mean, Kyle Hamilton, the best safety in the world. And Linda Flynn, I mean, he one of the best centers in the world for sure. And both of them are going to get paid. So it worked out for both of them. And it's worked out for the Ravens. Obviously, it ain't worked out all the way to the Super Bowl yet. But it's certainly worked out for both of those two individually like crazy. And it ain't like, oh, yeah, Linderbaum and Hamilton, no. They're great. They're amazing. So, yeah, it worked out. He said they're both amazing players, and I'm definitely happy with those picks. But going back in time, should we have gotten a replacement if EDC had Hollywood already traded? And let's say we as fans knew Hollywood was being traded the same time EDC knew, and we didn't know what went down that night. Hopefully that makes sense. I get what you're saying, because I remember is that the draft where they wanted to draft Calvin Austin? I think that's that draft. I believe I'm like 90% sure that's the draft where they wanted to get Calvin Austin, sort of as that Hollywood replacement. But we never really replaced Hollywood. We never really did. Like with a receiver like that's like him. Obviously, a couple years later, we end up getting Zay Flowers, who is not like Hollywood at all. I hate when people do that lazy comparison. Oh yeah, Zay Flowers, Hollywood. They're nothing alike. They two completely different types of receivers. Just that they both shorted from Florida. That's the only comparison that there is. That's the only similarities. I mean, completely different receivers. Yeah. So they, I don't think that they really replaced Hollywood and really we were still had our receiver woes back then, but hey, it's great to say that that's now in the past. Anyway, he said also, thanks again, GOAT, for everything. GOAT, maybe somebody back there, not me, but Alex, I appreciate you. Love you, my friend, and thank you for ending this episode off on a nice note.